Well, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump is ready to re-enter the White House. The property will be transformed into a home for the incoming U.S. president once the belongings of outgoing President Joe Biden and family are removed. VOA's Dora McQuarrie reports.
The moment Joe Biden leaves the Oval Office for the last time, likely in the morning on Inauguration Day, the White House staff jumps into action, rearranging the iconic office to the tastes of the incoming president.
They like the Oval Office to be outfitted, what rug, what drapes, what desk, etc. Because that's the kind of the Oval Office is the first area to be sort of prepared.
Photos show that Biden changed the rug and some chairs in 2017 after taking over from Donald Trump, who preceded him and will also succeed him.
Thank you. Donald, congratulations.
But it looks like the couches and curtains remain the same. The president's family lives on the second and third floors of the White House. Before moving day, the incoming president and first lady choose what furniture and art they want from the White House collection. By the time the new president arrives home on Inauguration Day, the furniture is in place and personal family photos are on the walls.
When the new president and first lady move in, they have their favorite shampoo in the shower. They have their toothbrush, toothpaste on the counter. They have their clothes hung up in the closet.
It all happens in under 6 hours, with about 100 White House staffers pitching in.
You don't have professional movers doing this. You have the resident staff doing it. So you have everybody pitching in. And these are not people that are trained as movers. They don't hire professional movers because of security concerns.
Many of the White House resident staff worked for Donald Trump during his first term, from January 2017 until January 2021.
So the staff really did like Donald Trump because he's used to having people around him serving him. And, he would go around tipping staff in cash, handing out 20s and 50s. And they appreciate that. They are not political. They just care about how the president treats them.
President Barack Obama hired Angela Reed to be the White House's chief usher in 2011. She oversaw moving day in January 2017, when the Obamas moved out and the Trumps moved in.
We have used the term organized chaos, but it really is a very coordinated operation. It's been rehearsed, so many times that on that day, everyone is just chomping at the bits for go time.
There were some hiccups, like having to use only one elevator.
The elevator was not, being used to its most optimum. So I took responsibility for an hour of the time, sort of riding that by actually running the elevator. There was an instance of maybe one mattress for one specific room not being the right size.
But the main challenge is always the time constraint and having just about 6 hours to get everything ready to welcome the new presidential family home to the White House for the first time.
Peter Kuznick is a professor of history at American University. Professor Kuznick is now joining us live from Washington, D.C. Professor Kuznick, good to see you. Trump 2.0 begins officially tomorrow, but let's talk about the guest list, because Trump has gone against the tradition by inviting guests to his inauguration ceremony. What does this indicate?
Well, Trump is not somebody who goes by rules or norms or traditions. And I think the Americans are pleased with that right now, because most Americans are not very happy with the state of the nation. Mm-hmm. So they're looking for Trump to do some different kinds of things. He's invited a lot of dignitaries from overseas, and he's got all of his billionaire friends who are going to be attending also. Mm-hmm. So I think people are going to give him a little bit of a honeymoon in the beginning, and to do what he wants and set his own terms.
Mm-hmm. Talking about donors, what do you make of some of the donors who will be at the inauguration ceremony? And when you talk about that, there's also something on everyone's mind right now. TikTok has been banned in the US. How is that going to pan out?
Well, among those donors who Trump has invited is the head of TikTok in the United States.
That's right.
And Trump is making clear that he's going to do what he can to preserve TikTok. It's a complete change from his earlier position when he was in favor of banning TikTok. But then he realized that TikTok was more friendly to him than he initially thought. And he also knows that much of America relies on TikTok. I know the younger generation overwhelmingly uses TikTok. So I think Trump is going to get this one right and going to try to find a way, get his colleagues in the Congress to overturn the previous TikTok ban and either get it sold to an American owner or find some other way around this.
Professor Kuznick, finally and very quickly, we are receiving reports that after President Trump is inaugurated, his first trip will be to China. What do you make of that?
Again, it's another surprise. During his first term, Trump was very hostile to China. He started a trade war with China. He did say that he admired Xi Jinping, but the fact that he's going to go to that first trip to China is a very significant development. What we're seeing in the Middle East, for example, is Trump pressuring the Israeli government to reach a ceasefire that Biden wasn't able to do for 15 years or didn't want to do. 15 months, but they didn't want to do. But Trump was able to get that done very, very quickly. Maybe he can end the fighting in Ukraine, which most of the world would be very happy to see, and he can develop better relations with China.
Right.
Biden came in and doubled down on most of Trump's policies that were hostile to China, and relations worsened very, very quickly under Biden. Could Trump reverse that? The thing about Trump is we don't know. He could go any direction right now. He's got
Very
people in that
unpredictable.
who are China hawks. You heard Marco Rubio's testimony, and he's targeting China, as are so many of the other foreign policy advisors. So the fear that many of us have is that Trump will end the fighting in Ukraine and then turn against Iran and China. However, this may signal that he's a different Donald Trump this time and that he's going to go a different direction. I hope to see that.
All right. Professor Peter Kuznick, like I said, Trump 2.0 officially begins tomorrow. Thank you very much for talking to us today.
Thank you.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.